It was late March 2022. The kind of moment when history quietly changes direction. Not with a loud announcement, but with a shift in behavior. The war had already begun weeks earlier, yet something deeper had settled in. A realization: this was not going to be short. This was not going to be simple. And when powerful people realize that the future is uncertain, they start making moves that no one is meant to notice. The government aircraft began flying in ways that made no sense. These were not commercial planes. They did not carry tourists or cargo. They belonged to a fleet reserved for the highest level of authority. Aircraft that usually followed strict, predictable routes between major cities, official residences, and ceremonial destinations. But now, those routes changed. One aircraft flew east, landing in an industrial city far from public attention. It stayed briefly, then left. Days later, it returned again, repeating the journey without explanation. Another aircraft followed a similar pattern, traveling even farther, to a remote city better known for factories and mines than politics. No media coverage. No official reason. Just data points on flight trackers, quietly recorded and quickly forgotten by most, but not by everyone, because timing matters. These flights happened at the precise moment when optimism disappeared, when it became clear that events would drag on, that plans had failed, and that contingency plans were no longer theoretical. Something had changed. Between these distant cities lies a place that rarely appears in conversation. A mountain, unremarkable to the untrained eye, covered in forest and stone. On maps it looks ordinary. On Tigran it is anything but. Access is restricted. The surrounding area is monitored. Locals avoid discussing it, not because they have been told to stay silent, but because experience has taught them that silence is safer. For decades, rumors have surrounded this mountain. Some say it hides nothing more than rock and tunnels from an abandoned military project. Others believe it conceals something far larger. Something designed not for soldiers, but for those who command them. An underground facility, buried deep within the mountain, isolated from the surface world. A place meant to endure. Cold War history gives context to these rumors. During that era, vast underground structures were not fantasy. Entire command centers were built beneath mountains, designed to survive unimaginable scenarios. Thick layers of stone, reinforced concrete, independent power, water reserves, air filtration systems. But this mountain presents a complication. Its natural composition interferes with communication signals. Radio waves struggle to pass through the dense mineral layers, which raises an uncomfortable question. If communication is unreliable, then what is the purpose of such a facility? A command center requires constant contact. Orders must flow. Information must move, unless the goal is not command, unless the goal is survival. For years, the site appeared dormant. Construction had slowed. Budgets tightened. Attention shifted elsewhere. Many assumed the project had been abandoned, left as a relic of a different era. Then, quietly, things began to move again. Heavy construction vehicles appeared in nearby restricted towns. Convoys arrived under cover of routine operations. The machinery was specialized, the kind used only for deep excavation and reinforced underground construction. The workers were not local. The vehicles carried registrations from distant administrative centers. Questions were discouraged. Explanations were minimal. People noticed, but no one spoke openly. What made it more unsettling was familiarity. The same construction organizations had been seen before, at a secluded coastal estate, hidden behind layers of security, where luxurious buildings sat above a complex underground system. Elevators descending far deeper than necessary. Tunnels reinforced with thick concrete. Ventilation shafts disguised as architectural features. Independent water and power systems designed to function in isolation. Elsewhere, similar patterns appeared. Different locations. Same methods. The same style of construction. The same engineering logic. The same silence. Even major cities were not exempt. Beneath the surface, below busy streets and crowded stations, older infrastructure hid secrets of its own. Some transit stations descended far deeper than required for transportation. Certain corridors were sealed, their purposes long forgotten by the public. Behind unmarked doors, spaces existed that were never meant for civilians. Some explorers, driven by curiosity, tried to trace these hidden paths. They documented abandoned tunnels, massive chambers, passages that led nowhere, and sometimes passages that led somewhere they should not have been. Those who went too far learned quickly that some questions carry consequences. Around the same time, large development projects began to appear in carefully chosen locations. Officially, they were meant for progress. Research centers, innovation hubs, educational expansions. All legitimate, all publicly justified. But rumors persisted that the true value of the land lay not above ground, but beneath it. Deep below, layers of reinforced concrete vast chambers, infrastructure capable of supporting thousands of people for extended periods. Not temporary shelters, but long-term environments. No confirmation exists. No blueprints have been released. Everything remains speculation. Yet, patterns repeat. Far from the cities, in remote natural regions. Another location drew quiet attention. A secure compound near mountains and water, isolated and discreet. On the surface, it appeared modest, solid, well protected, but unremarkable. What stood out was nearby infrastructure. A power station far larger than necessary. Equipment capable of supplying electricity not to a single compound, but to an entire small town. Such capacity raises questions. Why would a remote residence require so much power, unless the real facility was not visible? Unless most of it lay underground. Of course, skeptics argue that secrecy breeds exaggeration, that fear fills gaps in knowledge with imagination, that underground cities are convenient myths in uncertain times. And they may be right. Constructing massive underground complexes is difficult. Excavated material must go somewhere. Large-scale operations leave traces. Complete secrecy is nearly impossible, but absolute certainty is equally impossible. Because history shows that powerful states have always prepared for worst-case scenarios. Hidden infrastructure, redundant systems, fallback locations. Insurance against chaos. The truth likely exists somewhere between extremes. Not sprawling underground metropolises, but not simple basements either. Functional, hardened spaces, designed for continuity, for control, for survival. When the world above becomes unstable, those with resources do not rely on chance. They prepare. They move quietly. They disappear from sight. And when they do, only fragments remain. Flight paths, construction convoys, unexplained power stations, sealed doors. The rest is left to speculation. In the end, we may never know how deep these structures go, how extensive they truly are, or who exactly they are meant to protect. But one thing is clear: when uncertainty rises, the powerful do not wait for events to unfold around them. They make plans, and those plans are rarely meant to be seen.